It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. Let's go. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all want to ring. Yeah, we all want to be free.
We are, folks, 1 week from the NFL trade deadline, 1 week from the Lions facing the Raiders, and a couple days after the butt whooping. And we are here with Lions Talk Live. Dan, what's going on, man?
Hey, just another beautiful day to be a Lions fan, one step closer to the Super Bowl.
One step closer to the Super Bowl, and if you're same old Lions fan, one step closer towards a rebuild, because I don't know what's going on with some of these guys. I get told Lions, they're not winning the North. It's time to rebuild. I'm like, what the heck, Dan? What's going on here?
A little bit of overreaction. I mean, I get it was a painful loss Sunday, but at the same time, it's one loss. You played on the road again. You know, at some point, I think players just get a little bit beat down. Maybe they listen to the news or whatever it is. But the Ravens knew when to hit us, where to hit us, and they came after us. It was clear from the moment they took the opening kickoff, they had a plan, and they had a real good idea what to do against us.
We'll talk a little bit about that Ravens game for like 2 minutes, and then everything else is going to be focused on positive stuff because it's already been there. Yeah, so the takeaways, just really quick from the Baltimore game, the Lions were cheeks. That's my takeaways. What about you?
I talked about it a little bit yesterday, maybe the post-game show. The biggest issue I have is the lack of adjustments until we got down 21 or 28 points. Especially on the defensive side. I mean, Ben Johnson's not without any kind of fire here either. They both obviously came in with a plan. When that plan wasn't working, they just stuck with it until really all hope was lost for the game.
And there you go. That is your breakdown of the Ravens game. It's been talked about endlessly everywhere, so I just didn't want to really get into it in all honesty. But let's talk about that Lions and Raiders game here. You got the Detroit Lions and the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Lions are heavy favorites, and I can see why. If you look at the Raiders offense right now, they're doing 16 points per game. That's 30th in the NFL. Total yards per game is 284.1, 27th in the NFL. Passing yards per game, 215.6, 18th in the NFL. Rushing yards, 68.6, 32nd in the NFL. Turnover differential, they're negative 10. That's 32nd in the NFL. This Raiders offense stinks, man.
Yeah, and Mike, I would say start with their center and guards. If you watch them and their blocking assignments, they're going to have some issues, I think, containing the Detroit front. Trade or no trade, I think the Lions are going to be able to put some pressure on whoever the quarterback's going to be. There's some speculation, at least uncertainty, I guess we could say, that Jimmy G isn't going to be back for the game. If he's not, this thing could really turn into a dumpster fire quickly for the Raiders. From there on out, they do have some weapons offensively. I just think Detroit's going to come in looking to take out some frustration on the Raiders.
If Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't play, it's already a done deal. It's over. They're terrible. They got owned by the Chicago Bears. And their backup quarterback beat them. I think it was 30-12. They just look, man. I've been saying this for a long time. Never hire former Patriot coaches to be your head coach. Josh McDaniels sucks. I was talking to Mitchell Rentz. He's being told that the players want him fired. And it's just a dumpster fire over there. And he runs the Raiders report. So I'm going to take his word that it's an absolute dumpster fire. There is a revolt against Josh McDaniels. It kind of reminds you of Matt Patricia there, Dan.
When you look at the personality types of both these guys, and to be fair, a lot of the people that have been hired out of the Bill Belichick tree for the last 20 years or so, I think there's some speculation now and even kind of guessing that I get Belichick is a phenomenal X and O's coach. But how much that his success in New England was tied to Tom Brady. He wasn't so successful in other spots, and now that Brady's gone, you're seeing obviously a noticeable move downwards for that franchise. a lot of the guys there just are so glued and stubborn to what Belichick has taught them that maybe they're not willing to make changes. And I think, that's probably going to cost McDaniels his job either this year or in the offseason.
So like I said before, it looks like the Raiders offense is the worst offense in football, pretty much bottom 5 in every category. Their defense there, points allowed per game is 23. That's 22nd in the NFL. Yards allowed per game is 316. That's 10th in the NFL. Passing yards actually pretty good, 187.4, 5th. And rushing yards is butt cheeks at 129, 24th in the NFL. Their defense, they have a couple good pieces there, but in all honesty, it's bad as well, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts for this one for sure, but I'm going to say this, Mike. I think this could be a blowout win for the Lions. I think you're going to have the potential for Gibbs to have a big game, Jameson Williams to have a big game. I mean, it'd be kind of stupid to say St. Brown have a big game, because every game he seems to get 8 to 29 billion catches, a few thousand yards, and every game's a coming out party for him.
We look, though, they do got one player on defense. That's all they got. And literally, it's Max Crosby. He's got 6.5 sacks. Very good player. So obviously, the Lions' offensive line's got to watch him. Other than that, they got nobody. Adam Butler, 1 sack. Jerry Tillery, 1 sack. Divine Deablo, 1 sack. Robert Spillane, 1 sack. Lions are favorite by 7.5 right now. And the total over-under is 45. I'm going to take the over there. I think the Lions, honestly, Dan, I think they could put up 40 points on these guys.
I think there's real potential. Yeah, they can win by a comfortable margin, regardless of who's playing. Right, wrong, or indifferent, Aaron Glenn's your coordinator probably for this season. And I'll say this: mobile quarterbacks, he likes to run a particular front against them, and it doesn't put a lot of pressure on the other quarterback. But against non-historically mobile quarterbacks, he gets after things. Why he doesn't do that all the time, you'd have to ask him. But I think whoever's back there for the Raiders, they're in for a pounding.
They're in for a pounding. It's an extreme mismatch in this game. You got potentially a team in the Raiders that is up there with the top 5 draft pick. And if Jimmy G doesn't play, it's pretty much done. Lions offense is good. It's 8th in the NFL points per game, 4th in the NFL total yards, 4th in the NFL passing, 11th in rushing, and 13th in turnovers. Good offense. The defense, it fell a little bit after this game that took place in Baltimore. 19th in points allowed, 11th in yards allowed, 24th in passing per game, and 2nd in rushing. So we're going to be able to stop the run. The passing, they're giving up quite a bit, but if Jimmy G is not playing, I don't see they got a chance in hell.
No, and Devontae Adams may just ask to sit this one out, just to protect himself a little bit. Whatever it is, though, Mike, I think the Lions, they need to come out and get a lead early and often and just be uber aggressive, less conservative on both sides of the ball. They do that, the Raiders are in for a world of hurt.
Bill says, Ravens fan here, why the DC and not the OC? Are you talking about the Detroit firing Aaron Glenn? First off, they're not going to fire Aaron Glenn. I'm going to just tell you that right now.
Right.
And just because he had a bad game doesn't necessarily mean it's time to fire him. Is it concerning that he had a horrible game this year in Seattle Seahawks and some last year? Yeah, for sure. But it's not worth firing the guy right now. I think that's a little bit overreaction. So, honestly, I got the Lions winning this game. I think they could put up 40-plus points. I did put a prediction, and I'll do a prediction video on my personal channel tomorrow. For my personal prediction, 32-13 final score for the Detroit Lions versus the Raiders. It could be 42-13. What do you think?
I'm going to go with 48-17.
Oh, and that's a lot of points there. Very possible. I'll be on ESPN Radio sometime this week talking with Huge to talk about the Lions game. Now, let's get into the latest trade rumors. I think that we got 80 people in the chat right now, and I think that 79 of them want to hear about your trade rumors. So smash that like button. Go ahead and talk about the latest regarding the Detroit Lions trade, what you heard and what you read off on your channel.
All right, so I'll walk everybody through this. So apparently Sunday night, early Sunday morning, Brad Holmes did have a conversation with Washington's general manager and front office. They initially called about Sweat and Fuller in a potential trade for the Lions. But because of some happenings during the Washington football team or Washington Commanders game Sunday night, and then some displeasure with Allen, Allen went in, talked to them. Let's see, the direct quote, I guess I will give you. Allen has privately spoken to the Commanders general manager about his desire to no longer remain with the franchise. Allen and Washington brass had a direct private meeting Monday late afternoon, whereas Commanders general manager attempted to talk to Allen into staying and remaining with the team. Later Monday evening, Allen reached back out and told the GM and informed them of his desire to end his time with the Commanders. So from there, everything changed. I talked about it in my show. I think Sweat does make sense. Fuller makes a ton of sense. But the one problem I would have with it, Mike, is that I just don't think Fuller and Houston and maybe a couple of the other pass rushers Detroit has are vastly different. Allen, though, is vastly different than anybody we have on the interior line of our defense. So Fuller would obviously eat up the spot of your favorite Lion of all time, Will Harris. So both of those would make immense impacts for Detroit.
Here's the thing, folks. Do you really want Will Harris being covering somebody as a number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6? He is a disaster, and every team attacks him. It's just, he may have like a decent game here and there, but my God, like when Jerry Jacobs went down, did not play in this game, it was evident that if you are opposite of Will Harris, you're going to get a ton of yards. A ton. And imagine if Cam Sutton went down. It's done for that secondary. It's done. We need to have somebody back there. I don't care who it is. It could be the Hamburglar. But right now, it's not happening with Will Harris. And we're so close at 5-2 being a good team. And I feel like we're a couple pieces away. So I could see a situation like that. Why would they go for, I know Allen wants out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we all seen it. He was really upset.
Yep.
What would it take to get it? Him this trade? You said a third and a what?
So let me go back to the notes here. It looks like, okay, so for Allen and Fuller, they're looking at somewhere between a third and fourth rounder plus an additional pick, somewhere in the 5 to 7 range. Obviously, Detroit doesn't have a fifth for this upcoming year, so that would have to be altered. If they go the Sweat Fuller route, you're looking at a third and a 7th is what they've talked about. To me, I just go all in. If it was me on Allen and Fuller, Fuller would make an immediate impact. Allen would as well. Sweat, maybe I'm wrong again, but I just don't think he's going to be as huge an upgrade as I think maybe some of us want to have. Fuller's going to be an upgrade no matter what, because like you said, Sutton goes down. I mean, who else you got to put in opposite of, I guess, Jerry Jacobs at that point? You either got to move Branch over, which I think he's good in the nickel. I don't know if he's great at the outside. To be fair, I haven't really watched him out there. And you want to know what the coaching staff thought of Will Harris. You watch that first quarter against Baltimore. I get he's thrown in last second to be a starter, basically, but they've got him back 7 yards off the line. They don't want him getting beat deep left or right. It was just playing pitch and catch with wherever he was or whoever he was defending.
Bill Branch with comment of the day, by the way. If Will Harris is out there and not on the sideline in street clothes, I'm dressing up in a SEAL suit, diving headfirst into a tank full of great white sharks. Oh, my God. Look, it's rough on these streets, man. It's rough. I think they do need to make a trade. I don't know if they're actually going to do it, though. I don't know. I talked to a guy, and he's hearing that they probably not going to do anything. Actually could trade away a player and I'm not going to say the player's name because I was asked not to, so I'm not going to do it. It's not a big name or anything like that. So it's not really that big of a deal, but we need to get, I would like to get a corner and an edge, but look at Allen. He could be a wrecker, right? You get that pressure on the interior. Imagine him and Ali McNeil, and then you got Isaiah Buggs. But the problem is we haven't even played Broderick Martin yet. We drafted this guy. We traded up in the 3rd round. We ain't play him yet. So you're going to trade for another defensive tackle, and you still got one that you drafted has not played yet. So what would that mean for Broderick Martin then?
Next year is his year. I mean, I'm guessing this means they don't feel he's far enough along from a developmental standpoint. And I would want to know, Mike, who makes that call? Is it the head coach in this regime? Is it Aaron Glenns? Because the only thing I will say is think back to a year ago prior to Thanksgiving. None of us knew about James Houston. None of us had a clue what he could be. And then just because of attrition and injuries, he finally got a shot. He got something like, whatever it was, 6 snaps against the Bills and got 2 sacks. And from there, he just kept getting more and more and more. Let's hope that that's not the same case where whoever they're having their quality control, evaluation person for that line is just misreading Broderick Martin that badly.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I look, I think we need a corner, and I'd like to get an edge, but we don't know, right? Like you said, Montez Sweat, and he is on the trade block, him and Chase Young.
Yes.
But you're saying that they didn't want Chase Young, but they may look at Montez Sweat. That's intriguing. I guess, look, they got to keep one of those guys. They're not going to be able to keep both over there in Washington because of all the players they get already paying over there defensively. But yeah, I think they are sellers over there, Washington. That is a team to look out for. I seen an article today, Sideline. I made a video about it. Said the Lions potentially could trade for Patrick Surtain. I don't think that's happening, folks. I'm just saying it right now. Marquise Brown. I don't see that happening, folks. Say that right now. And it was Brian Burns was another player out there that the Lions could trade for. I don't think it would happen because it's too much for Brad Holmes to him to give up. What do you think about those names?
I mean, Burns would make the most sense other than Surtain. But again, like you said, Mike, it's going to come down to what are you going to give up and what are you going to get in return. I would probably take Surtain just because he's still on a rookie deal for basically 2.5 years. You can keep that value in. Burns, you're going to have to give up a lot and then sign him. So otherwise, you're just going to have to franchise him. So I like him. I just don't think he's achievable unless you're going to get him for really low impact draft compensation.
I tried to get this information, Justin Shaw. I actually asked this to one of my guys, and I didn't get an answer. Any info on Marvin Jones and why he didn't play? I specifically asked that today. Did not get an answer on it. I couldn't tell you what the hell is going on here with Marvin Jones. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a practice report or something today. What do you think's going on with this? Because this weird. It's a real weird situation.
Yeah, I've got no clue, Mike. I did ask a couple people, but whatever it is, it's sort of like the bug situation earlier in the year. Nobody really wants to talk, or if they do, maybe they just don't know. Marvin Jones, something's happening, but I'll say this: he hasn't really produced much this year, so I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to it.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what's going on there. I couldn't tell you. I literally asked about it a couple hours ago. Didn't get a reply on that one. Other reply on other things, but not that. Charles Harris did not play in this last game. He's a captain for the Detroit Lions. Why do you think that is? Do you think he potentially, if we were to make a trade, do you think that he would be part of a package?
Boy, he just hasn't done much. Last year, obviously, he was injured, and this year, not much at all. So I think basically it just came down to a coaching decision. You haven't done much. We're going to give somebody else a try just because they knew they had to get some pressure up there. I just think Charles Harris had one good year leading into a contract. He's gotten paid off it. And unfortunately, he's probably not going to have much of a career or future here in Detroit.
I don't think so either. It feels like the Michael Brockers situation of last year, where you have a guy that they're loved, but he's just not producing. And so keep him on the sideline there. Jonathan, what about trading for Marquise Brown at the Arizona? Help wide receiver hasn't done much. That was part of the sideline report today as one of the players that they said were connected to the Lions there. I haven't heard anything besides that report about Marquise Brown. Zero besides that. So I don't think it's legit just because I've heard absolutely nothing about that. That would be, I mean, what does that mean then for our guy, Jameson Williams? Like, he's the speed guy. It would be a bad move there for him unless it's the Marvin Jones Jr. thing. I don't think it's legit at all. I don't think it's legit. Do you think that the Lions are actually going to make a trade? Like, your personal feeling, Dan, not what you're hearing, but your personal belief.
Yeah, I would say scale 1 to 10, 10 being high. I'd say it's about a 7. I think they're legitimately kicking tires on stuff. They just got to get it at the cost that they're willing to give up. Martin Mayhew, Dan Campbell, the entire staff knows they got an opportunity here. Will this opportunity be here next year? You only get so many tries at this, and hey, you've got an opportunity here. I think you need to go for it, especially if we're talking about giving up a first and second and third. Okay, that might be a little extreme. If you're talking about giving up a third and fourth and maybe like a sixth and seventh, let's do it. Get your wins this year. Make the push this year. You'd have both of those players or other players next year as well. So you got a 2-year window. Go for it.
And the thing is, and I keep saying this, folks, we got great depth on this team. Not all the draft picks we draft next year is going to make this team. It's just not happening. There's no way it's going to happen. We got draft picks right now who we drafted has yet to play. They're on the team. Broderick Martin, we traded up, hasn't made a play. He hasn't played yet for the Lions. Antoine Green barely has played at all, just a handful of snaps for the whole time that he's been here. Where the depth is going to be better next year. So you're going to have all these draft picks. So what are you going to do? Draft a player that potentially not even make the team. I mean, that's a legit possibility if you keep all your draft picks next year. Some of these guys is not going to make the 53-man roster. So why not take some of this draft capital and get a guy? Right. That's my thought process right now, Dan, is look, we have an opportunity to upgrade the roster right now. Not everyone's going to make the team next year in the draft. So do it right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see Gilmore chance. I would rather see Gilmore out there for sure. I think he's got a higher upside. Chase Lucas as well, I think he's got a higher upside than Will Harris. The Will Harris experiment should be done at this point. It's been 5 years. You just said on your live that they're finally starting to believe that maybe not all the faith in Will Harris. 5 years of this, and now they're just starting to believe this. Dan, what are you hearing about Will Harris here? That statement's pretty big.
I just think, again, you watch how he's being used when he's on the field. I think the coaching staff is aware he's fairly limited. And this past weekend, he had to play the outside position on the corners on the defense. They kept backing him off. They never once had him up challenging anybody because I think they knew he would get roasted. But the problem with that is it takes a novice quarterback and OC to figure out when somebody's playing that far off. Just play pitch and catch, get 7 yards every pass. And that's exactly what Baltimore did. It's what Tampa Bay tried to do on Harris several times. The only saving grace was, we got the one tip pick. I mean, that was, for whatever reason, Mike Evans was Harris's responsibility on that go route. Harris clearly didn't understand he was supposed to keep with him, so he just happened to be in the right spot for the interception. And then when you talk about last weekend, I mean, I would not put him on the field again. Hello? Show end? Can you guys hear me? I don't know what happened. This is Mike Stream, so I'm not sure what's going on. It's my show now. Well, he must have had something go on with his mic or something of that sort. So, yeah, Mike has left the building. So I'll just fill in, give him a couple minutes to try to make a bit of a comeback. So I'll just say this. I can't control anything on this stream, so I can read your comments, but that's about the extent of it. So what I'll say to you guys is here's my opinion on things. If Brad Holmes, Campbell, Glenn, whoever, if they've all met this week and said, hey, we need a push up here in order to legitimately deal with Philadelphia, or San Francisco in the playoffs, you're going to have to address some of these holes. We all, winning masks a lot of things. You don't really do deep dives into your offense and defense or whatever it is when you're winning. When you lose, though, especially when you get your butt whooped like last Sunday, that exposes a lot of things. It shows what coordinators have found, the wrinkles in your system, the dents or whatever that they're going to expose. What Baltimore did, what Seattle did, people are looking for comparisons now. Every coach in the league is doing it. Who's going to play us? And they're going to try to hit those holes on offense and defense. If you watch my show, yeah, I would say this to you. I'm going to want to see the Lions offense and Ben Johnson come out and be a lot more creative than what they did against Baltimore. You played against their strength. You never did anything to get Baltimore Ravens out of their best defense. And because of that, you kept running your head into a wall on offense for those first, whatever it was, 3 or 4 drives. You never once spread them out, going 4 or 5 receivers, forcing Baltimore in a situation where their 2 stud backers have got to make a choice. Am I going to leave them both in and put them on wide receivers or Gibbs as a running back, or I guess maybe Laporta, or am I going to have to change my personnel? Now, when the personnel's changed, do you motion somebody into the backfield and then try to run? That was one of my big problems with Ben Johnson. I think he's great at what he does, but he's also showing his lack of experience in the position. I'll say, the same is true with Aaron Glenn. I get Aaron Glenn is a scapegoat a lot of times. I do get he needs to improve. I do also understand that him, MCDC, Ben Johnson, they're all learning on the fly here because they really haven't done these roles with other teams. So that's what I would say. Don Burr, I see you here. Coach, I just read something about multiple teams interested in sweating Young. Hey, there he is. He's back.
Sorry about that, folks. As we continue on, talking for me when I lost internet. Yeah, we lost internet here. Oh, sorry about that.
You're all right, man. We got you.
I don't even know where we're at. Where we're talking. Where were you at while I was trying to fix the internet? What were you talking about?
We're just talking about different things that I think that both Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson are going to have to address now that some dents or wrinkles in their armor have been exposed. Every team we're going to face are going to try to do the same things Baltimore and some of the commonalities between them and Seattle have done against us to be effective. So, it's a copycat league. Somebody does something on you and it works. Everybody else is going to try and do it too.
Hater House disagrees with my assessment of we'll still have holes in the roster. Of course, we're going to have holes. But right now, our depth is really good. Look at the problems that we had getting to the 53-man roster this year. It's only going to be worse next year of that problem because the depth is even better. There's no way all of the draft picks the Lions have next year is going to make this team. It's not going to happen. Broderick Martin's not even played yet. A guy in the 3rd round. It's you got to think about that. So I think use some of that draft capital and pick up a player. Right. You've seen teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, they're making trades. Bam, 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 bam. And they're drafting great. Their franchise is great. They're the 6-1 team out there. I think we should make a move as well. I'm not saying you got to give up a 1st-round pick for somebody. I'm not saying at all. But I do not trust Will Harris back there right now. I do not trust no one opposite of Aiden Hutchinson right now on the defensive line to make as an edge presence. And you have an opportunity to upgrade as a general manager. That's what you do.
Right.
So if you got questions, put it in the comment section. We're going to go ahead and take some of your questions. Oh, you got to go back. Been to work. Been an hour. Go have fun, man. I'll go ahead and take this thing over. I appreciate you.
All right. See you guys all later.
Peace. All right. In the comment section, if you got a question, go ahead and throw it in there. We'll do a little mailbag, right meow, and have that thing going. Sorry for me losing the internet. That was weird. It was really quick. Lost it and had to go in there. How long is Houston gone? He's eligible to come back. I think it's this week or next week. Doesn't mean he's actually going to come back, but then that you can start that 21-day window. Here's what I'm thinking, guys, is a lot of these guys are going to come back after the bye week. We literally got one game, Monday Night Football, then the bye week. I think it'd be a great opportunity to rest some of these injured players like Jonah Jackson or James Houston, to your guy, this week, and then bye week, work them back in. And then we are going on the road to the Chargers. So I think we're on the opposite. We've been getting destroyed with injuries, But now we're starting to get a little bit better, right? We're starting to get some of these players back, and I think by the bye week we'll be pretty good there. But I would just say after it, why is Goff so trash? You mean the quarterback that's in top 5 in nearly every statistical category? That Goff trash. Look, man, I'm not a Goff hater. I'm not a Goff lover. Everybody knows this. But Goff right now is top 5 in nearly every statistical category at quarterback position. So if this trash, I don't know what else we can get at this point. Do you think, like, would I love to have a Patrick Mahomes? Yup. We don't have Patrick Mahomes. We have Jared Goff. Right now, I trust him the most in the NFC North. It is we don't have. There's not a guy you can just get up right now that's an upgrade. He's not trash. Let's see. Hater's house, is that Montgomery thing working out for you? Running him into the ground. I wouldn't say it's working out for him. He just landed bad on his ribs. It's just a bad land. He's still a really strong physical guy out there. I don't think he's really like they're going to be splitting carries with him and Jahmyr Gibbs. We'll get more carries as the season goes along. But yeah, I'm not saying they're running him to the ground now. Chicago may have done a lot of that, right? Because he was in a bad team, bad offensive line, and they didn't really have a lot going on over there. Anyone ask DC about Martin has not played? Our D line was mauled. We could use a big body. Nobody has got an answer on that right quick, but my thing is it's probably because everybody else is playing a little bit better, like Isaiah Buggs, obviously John Kaminsky, Joshua Pascal. All these guys are playing a little bit better. Let's see here. Any thoughts on Carolina cornerback Jackson being mentioned as multiple articles? Yeah, I could see a situation like that, or a player of his ilk there, Jack Reeves, somebody that's a low-key guy. That would be a depth player. That's why I did a video on that today, and I said he's probably, like of all the individuals we're hearing out there, all the players that we're hearing, would make the most sense, or a player of his caliber would make the most sense. It's a late round, 6th or 7th round draft pick, right? For a depth piece, just so you don't have to count on Will Harris. Let's see. Goff is not trash. So many Lions fans overreacted over one game. Yeah, look. You know what I loved about Jim Caldwell? You don't be too high and don't be too low. I mean, look, yesterday, the 49ers got beat by the Minnesota Vikings. Does that mean that the 49ers are trash? No. Is it concerning that they lost two games in a row? Yeah, I'd be concerned. Just like there's concerns the Lions got beat up, but doesn't mean they're trash and the world's ending. You know what I'm saying? So, is the trade talk for one player or possibly two Washington players? Dan says possibly two. I don't know. I talked to a guy today, and they say they don't believe the Lions are going to make a move, and I do trust. But at the same time, it feels like they are, just because there's players out there to be had, and the Lions need help. And it's so difficult to get any information out of this regime, which is great. Realistically, it's awesome, right? Like, as a franchise, you don't want to know anything. You want them to surprise you, whether it be the draft, free agency, or in this case, a trade. But as somebody who wants to figure things out, like all of us as Lions fans, it sucks because it's hard to get any truth. It really is. Goff ain't it, man. Y'all delusional. Hooker is the future. Look, Goff is 29. He's the now. Is he the future after 35? No. Is he going to get extended? Yeah, he's going to get extended. Let's see. Just came from Dan's stream. Talk about those trades for sure. You got questions, throw it up in there. Mike, how accurate do you think your report we stand by the deadline is? 50-50. It's 50-50. I do trust, because he's a Lions insider. Okay, he's a beat writer. I'm not going to say who it is, but he's a beat writer, and he told me that he's hearing that they're not going to make a move. It doesn't mean that it's actually going to be the case. Remember, the Lions are like, these brass can throw out there some curveballs, and they're not going to tell the truth on everything. So, but that's just what he says. I don't know. My heart says they make a move. My brain's telling me no, so it's split. Leonard Fournette, I don't think so. David Montgomery will be back after the bye week. I don't think they'd go that route. Don Burr, we shouldn't feed Montgomery. They fake fans are not real fans. If one loss gets them bandwagon, good. We need those. Yeah, folks, man, it's one loss. And guess what? We're going to lose again this year. It's not like we're going to go undefeated. No team does that since the Miami Dolphins, 50 years ago. Man, look. Okay, look, if you want to think he's trash, hey, that's your opinion. Trade J-Mo second to the Panthers for Brian Burns, reunite him with Young. Yeah, I've heard people mention that before. I don't see it's happening. I can understand it. Would it make sense? Then some ideas, yeah, it makes sense, but I don't see that happening. Any info on Marvin Jones? Nope, I have no idea. And I asked on that today, got no answer. Let's see. Derrick Henry would improve this offense. I agree. 1AB. That would be wear down defense. Look, I love Derrick Henry. That would be. But I think there's other teams out there that really need a running back. Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be a team like that. I think they'd pull it off. Plus, if one goes down, you have other. No, I 100% agree, Steve. It's working 5-2. Yeah, look, we're a really good team. Are we the Eagles team? No. I don't even think we're the San Francisco 49ers team, in which I got to say, Brock Purdy's not played great the last couple of weeks. It feels like maybe teams are starting to catch on a little bit. The way he was throwing errant throws yesterday was concerning, but they're still a damn good football team. Any word on Jerry Jacobs? No, and I expect him to be back on Monday. Sorry, his injury happened on a Saturday, the game before. I expect him to be back on Monday. Just an FYI. I can hear Mike, but Mike disappeared. Yeah, sorry about that, man. How can I say Hooker is the future? We haven't even seen him. Looks like, yeah, it's true. We haven't seen him. Vikings, Bears, Packers fighting for last place. Yes, they are fighting. I think the Vikings, that was a huge win for them. I think it's a momentum boost. They'll probably be the number two team in the NFC North. I think they're better than the Packers because Jordan Love's falling off a cliff. He looks terrible. Jeff, you seen me doing college? Okay, you guys are just going back and forth here. Thoughts on the Michigan cheating? I'm not a Michigan fan. Everybody knows this. Let the investigation play out. But let's keep it 100 here. Every team does this. Literally, if you go to a Lions practice, and this is in training camp, you can't you can't have your camera up when they're practicing. Why? Because they don't want other teams to video record what they're doing. I can guarantee you, every team in the NFL, and I'm sure in college as well, there's people out there trying to get any information to get a leg up in quote unquote cheating. So it's one of those things where I think pretty much everybody does it. Does Goff have a strong enough arm for the deep pass? Yeah, he showed it. He showed the last 2 weeks he did. He dropped 2 50-yard bombs. That's pretty strong. And I don't need Jared Goff to do the 70-yard bomb every single time. That's not his strength. Is his ability to find the wide open receiver, read defenses. He doesn't necessarily have the strongest arm in the world, but that's okay. I don't care. Like people say he's checked down. I could care less if it's a check down. The offense is scoring points and making big points. That's the only thing I care about. And he's doing fine right now. Of all the worries for the Detroit Lions, Jared Goff is probably one of the last worries that I have. And I'm not a Goff lover. Everybody knows this. I'm a Detroit Lions fan. I'm not a hater nor lover of Jared Goff or any other player. I want the team to be well. Like I root for the players. Like when Will Harris got that fumble recovery, I was the first one to shout him out. But when he continues to suck like he did past 5 years, besides 2 games, I'm going to rip him up. I want every player to succeed. I watched MSU and Lions go down 84-0 over 4 quarters before I finally get to see one of my football teams score 1 touchdown. That sucks, Ed. It's just one of those weeks, man. It's one of those weeks in football, right? Everything that could go wrong went wrong. It's one of those times, and guess what? It happens to every team. Just thankfully, it happened to an AFC team on the road, and it didn't happen to an NFC team at home. That sucked. You want to know what's worse? The worst loss that we've had this year? It's the Seattle loss. Why? It was at home. It is an NFC opponent. I losing to the AFC on the road, like, because when you look at the seeding, it's not really going to affect anything, right? You got to have the best NFC record and the opponents. Right now, we're tied for the number 2 seed with San Francisco. But San Francisco lost to an NFC team. That is good. We want them to continue to lose to an NFC team. That's what you want to see. Stop hate with the deep pass. He has 2 games. Yeah, I don't understand the hate for Jared Goff. The hate. We can criticize him all day, but to call him trash is ridiculous, man. You want to know what a trash quarterback is? We could talk about trash quarterbacks. Zach Wilson, trash quarterback. Jordan Love, trash quarterback. There is a ton of trash quarterbacks out there. Okay? Sam Howell, I like Sam Howell, but he's not better in Jared Goff. He's just not. There's a lot of trash quarterbacks out there. To say that Jared Goff's trash, I mean, that you're talking like the 5 worst team. Mac Jones is a trash quarterback. He is trash. Those are trash guys. Goff threw a wobbly deep ball. Yes, he did on Sunday. You're right. But are you then discounting the last 2 years of good play? You can't just take one thing and say this is what he is and discount everything else. Same with the Detroit Lions. You can't say, well, Lions are garbage because they lost to the Ravens, and discount the 5 wins we have this year and the winning streak we went on last year, 8 out of 10. You can't do that, man. You got to take both. You got to take it both. Desmond Ridder, trash quarterback. Okay? So, I mean, you look, we can criticize, and especially the Ravens game. We criticize everybody for that game. They're like you name a player, there's going to be criticized to go around for each of those players. With that said, you can't just discount the good stuff that happened. You can't. So you got to take both. Spenmo, a Goff hater. I don't think he's a Goff hater. A lot of people, and I do think this is great. And just like a Spenmo is this way, and a Raw is this way, they like mobile quarterbacks more. That is their prefer. I like mobile quarterbacks as well because it extends the play. Doesn't make you a hater of a Jared Goff or a pocket passer. It's just what you prefer more. And everyone's got preferences. Dating, clothes, hairstyles doesn't mean that another way is bad. It's just their prefer. Let's see here. We're getting anything good. We are hosting the draft, so I'd assume that the Lions would want to keep their picks, especially in the first round. Yeah, I don't think they're going to give up a first round pick, Kamel, at all. We're talking about trades. We're talking about third and back. So they're not going to give up. That's why I've been saying, like, I'd love to get Patrick Surtain. It ain't going to happen. Like, I'd love to get a Brian Burns. I don't see that happening. So you're saying that Goff is a better arm. Jared Goff is better than Sam Howell. This is a pure fact. You want to go on stats? We can go on every single statistical category right now, unless you don't want to look at that. Just look at the stats. That's all you got to do, man, is look at the stats. Our Goff offense is the problem. Calling trash Goff on here, it's ridiculous. All right, because I love this stuff. So we're just going to go and pull the stats up right now. We're going to do NFL stats for the quarterback position because this is ridiculous. This is the complete. And you know what? I'm going to put it up here so you can see it. So you don't think I'm making this up. Get this up here. Let me do a screen share. Let's do a present. Let's do a share screen. We're going to do this one here. There you go. Share. Let's go. Waiting for this to come up here. Now my internet is blowing again. What is going on here? Give me a minute. I don't know what's going on. It's been like this now today. It's annoying. Hurry up, internet. God dang it. Really annoyed today by this internet. Really, really annoyed. I apologize. If you're even listening, probably not, because it's probably stalled. This has been an ugly day for connection today. Let's see. Holy God. All right. Internet went out. I don't know what is going on today. I do apologize. This has been a crazy day for my internet, but let me get this thing up for you guys because this is really important. I know this kind of stream went off a little bit weird here. But this getting told he's trash and all these other people are better than him. I got to really show it here. So let me get this up for you. Present slides. Share screen. Let me get this one. Share. Okay. There you go, folks. Here it is. Let me remove this. Sorry. Got to just remove the comment so you guys can see it more. We're going to start with yards. Jared Goff, 5th in the NFL with almost 2,000 yards. Okay. Let's do QBR. 5th, Jared Goff in the NFL. Oof, pretty good. Let's do touchdowns. Jared Goff, 6th in the NFL. Let's do interceptions. Sam Howell's way up there. Where you want to see? You want to be at the bottom of this list, the very bottom. You don't want to have a lot of interceptions. Tyrod Taylor. We got people that's not even quarterbacks here. Jared Goff with only 4. Okay. Pretty good. Touchdowns. Style. Let's do QBR 5th. We'll do rating. Jared Goff 8th. Jared Goff is literally nearly top 5 in every statistical category. So, how is he trash? How is he trash? I don't know what else to show you. Completion percentage, 10 in the NFL. Yards, touchdowns, interceptions, ratings, QBR, Jared Goff is doing good. Y'all glazing over Goff God. All I said is Sam Howell's deep ball is better. If you don't agree, that's favoritism. Okay, Sam Howell, 18th in the NFL, QBR. Sam Howell, 8th yards. Sam Howell, 11th, touchdowns. I don't know what else to say. Jared Goff is literally beating him in every statistical category. Sam Howell, 25th in QBR. Sam Howell, 18th in rating. Cool. Guess what? Tim Boyle can throw a deep pass too, but he also throws it to another stadium. Tim Boyle's got a cannon for an arm. He throws it to another stadium. Hey, great. Cool. You have a great arm. Jeff George, he had a cannon of an arm. Jay Cutler had a cannon of an arm. I don't care. I want to have an efficient offense. I want to win football games. So this idea that he's trash is ridiculous. If you prefer somebody else, cool. Like, I got no problem with that. But to say Jared Goff is trash is just, it's not right. It's not true. Literally, I'm pulling this off ESPN. This is not even, it's not off me. It's not coming up with my own stuff. Straight off ESPN right there. So look at it yourself. If your favorite thing is cannon of an arm, great. If that's you want a cannon of an arm, great. I mean, a lot of people like cannon of an arms. Understood. But you got to have more than just a cannon of an arm. You got to have everything else. You do. I mean, it's cool. Stafford's got a better arm than Jared Goff. Cannon of an arm. That's fine. Tom Brady didn't have the biggest arm in the world. Peyton Manning didn't have the cannon. He's just really smart. So, I mean, I don't care. Jeff George, that's the name of the pass. He had a cannon of an arm. Jeez. Who's that quarterback that went first overall to the then Oakland Raiders? He had a cannon of an arm. He ended up being one of the biggest busts in NFL history. So I could care less. Like, I just want an efficient offense to get it done. And I don't care who's out there. If they're doing good, great. It's the only thing I care about. But there's not, I'm being favoritism. I literally just pulled that off ESPN. I did a screen share. Yes, you're right. He does have the greatest mobility. And that's why, and it's okay if you want a quarterback like that. Hey, anybody out there, if you want a mobile quarterback, cool. Like, I totally get it. I like mobile quarterbacks. 100%. But I'm not going to be like, well, Jared Goff's trash. No, he's not. Do I prefer mobile? Yes, but I'm perfectly fine with Jared Goff right now. He's doing great. So cool. Like, if he wasn't doing great, not cool. I just want the player to do well, whoever it is wearing a Lions uniform. Yeah, Jamarcus Russell. That's right. That dude had a can of an arm. He was an absolute bust, too. Durant had a can of an arm and didn't play better quarterback than Brady or Henson. Yeah, look, it's not saying it's a bad thing to have a cannon of an arm, right? It's just a quarterback is more than just one thing. Like, it's not just, well, you could have a quarterback that's great mobility, but if he can't throw the football, what does it mean, right? Like, you got to have an offense that is predicated to the quarterback, that he can use the offense and do well in. That's what you want to see. And if you don't have that, you got to make adjustments, right? So, I mean, look at Kyler Murray. He has all the talent in the world, but mentally he's off. Like, this dude plays video games more than he worries about winning football games. Okay? So I love it. I love it. He's having issues over there. He's not a good leader. So, I mean, it's more than just that. Watch Mike going down a rabbit hole. I know. Look, man, sometimes I just got to show it. Like, I'm not trying to be a Goff lover nor hater. He's doing good, man. Like, give him some love. Give him some love. Fair point. Lamar looks much better in a first pass offense. Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, 100%. Teddy is a good quarterback. He's a great backup. And I do like Hendon Hooker. Man, I want a Hendon Hooker in the draft. Hell of a draft. How many times did I talk about Hendon Hooker for like 6 months straight? And this was way before the draft. We get Hendon Hooker. I love it. I still want Goff playing. I love Hendon Hooker. He's mobile. He's awesome. I still want Jared Goff playing because he's playing at a high level right now. Jamie, you shouldn't wish on anybody getting hurt. Yeah, I don't want to, like, look, man. Especially like Montgomery or Mo Ibrahim. By the way, shout out to Mo Ibrahim. He's walking again. That was a brutal hit he took. He had to have surgery just to get his hips fixed. Shout out to him. Injuries are brutal. Here, Alan Fuller on the move to Detroit. That's what Dan was saying, Scott. I don't know, like, things happen, but that's what Dan was saying, and he read his report. He came on earlier, so I'm sure you've seen his video. He came on here and talked about the same thing, that potentially Fuller and Allen are on the move. I'd love to see a move made. That's my personal preference. Haters House or anybody out there who doesn't want to move, I respect your opinion. I get it. I personally just do. Maybe you don't. We'll find out in a week, right? Like, it doesn't matter what all of us think. Like, our opinions doesn't matter. We're not Brad Holmes. So at the end of the day, we all have our personal views. We want to see a specific outcome. If it doesn't happen with the way we like it, oh, well, we're not running the organization. At the end of the day, I do trust Brad Holmes and the way he operates. I trust his evaluation of talent. I trust Dan Campbell's coaching ability. So if they make a move, I'll be happy for it. If they don't make a move, I trust my leadership. I don't mind making a move, but no first round. Oh, no, Haters House, I agree with you. I wouldn't move a first round pick. Second round pick's a little bit different because if you think about this, like, it could potentially be a third round pick, honestly, because if the Lions do make like a playoff run or for the NFC Championship, that's going to be a late second. So kind of like an early third. And I think we do got 2/3 right now, 2 third-round picks. So, I mean, you can kind of fluctuate. Maybe if you want to do a trade for a big name, you're like, you know what, we're going to have to do a conditional here. Like, if he does excellent, makes all pro or something like that, then it can move up. But first round pick, I'm with you. I really don't want to make that move because I do absolutely trust Brad Holmes to get a stud. And if you do look at this team, and I think you guys can concur here, that we need an edge rusher and I say guard in the draft in 2024. And at that position, you're talking late first round pick. You can really get a good guard, like a really good guard, and you could get a really nice edge rusher at that spot. And so I don't want to lose that ability to get a young player that can really help this team out for the long haul. And I trust Brad Holmes' ability to find a good player in the late first round. I absolutely do. And plus, we've seen him move up in the draft, right? We've seen him move up from 32 to 12. So you got to have a first round pick to make a move like that. You have to have it. And so if you want him to have the ammunition to go up and down and all around. So I agree with you, man. I really don't want to lose a first round pick. Second, depending on the player and conditions. Third, I'm perfectly fine. You seem to, I know I'm repeating myself. Sorry, I am repeating myself. We're getting into this conversation, and I am repeating myself. If we do extend Goff, how many years would you extend him? I think it'd be a 3-year extension because he's already got 2 years left, so that'd be a 5-year deal. And if you think that he's 29 now, that make him 34. I think that would make a lot of sense. It would be a 3-year, in my opinion, contract extension, but it'd be 5 because he's got 2 years left in his deal. Oh, you weren't talking about me. Well, I was saying, yeah, I do repeat myself. It happens a lot, and I have no problem taking criticism for that. Biggs right. The future is Hooker paying Goff to set his back. I love Hendon Hooker. Are you sure that he's the future? You gotta let Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, those guys, kind of make that decision. I trust their decision. I still think the Lions should extend Jared Goff. 100%. I think so. If we extend Goff, I'm a Rams fan. Why would you be a Rams fan? Why? Well, look, if you want to be a Rams fan, then, you can be a Rams fan. But I'm not going to lie. I'm going to root for my team regardless who's here. There's players I did not want on this team in the 53-man roster, Will Harris being one of them, but I support and I wish he could come out there and play a lot better. But I'm not going to switch my fandom because there's a player I personally don't like. And not for personal wise, because he just don't play well in the field. What about offensive line, Mike? They look like they're S2. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I want to keep that first-round pick, Tiger Town. Because if you're looking, again, late in the first round, it's a great opportunity to upgrade a guard position. Really good. And right now, you're seeing we're having problems with that. Like, Halapoulides Vitae can't stay healthy. And then Graham Glasgow is not the long-term solution there. The draft is a long-term solution. You go ahead and draft a guy in the late first round, put him next to Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow. You extend Jonah Jackson, Taylor Decker here. Pretty damn good. Rookie would be scary thought. Jared Goff, he's going to give him a 4-year, $200 million extension. Mike McCall, what's up, my guy? $20 super. Ultra Combo. Hashtag FGB. If someone offered you 2 first-round picks for Goff this season, would you take it and promote Hooker? No. No, I'm not going to do that. Lions have not won the NFC North, ever. Ever. I want to win this division, and I want to win it this year. I am tired. Like, I love the draft, but I am tired. I want this team to win the division and win it this year. I want the Lions to host a playoff game at Ford Field. I want the Lions fans to experience a home playoff game. I want the Lions to be in contention for a Super Bowl. You trade away Jared Goff and you put it in for a rookie. No. I can't. I got to win this year, man. I'm tired of not winning the NFC North. I'm tired. Like, I've been seeing teams, the Bears, Packers, and Vikings win this division, and the Lions sitting back and getting cremated. I'm tired of it, man. I want a playoff win. I want a home playoff game, host a playoff game, and win this division and see a dang banner go up. That's what I want to see. 3 years, 130 extension for Goff. Possible. The problem with the extension, and I said it last year, is that stupid freaking Daniel Jones extension. Really hurt. It really hurt us. They extend the scrub quarterback who's butt cheeks, and they give this dude a ton of money, and he's terrible. And so that hurt the market for a quarterback like Jared Goff, or a market for the Lions and Jared Goff. Who's first-round picks? Well, we have a first-round pick, obviously. I don't know, obviously, where it's going to be. I'm going to assume it's later in the draft in the first round. Big's no ask. Let's see, off-season maybe. When will we stop being losers? When we win a playoff game. We host a playoff game and win a playoff game. Once we get that monkey off our back, we can stop hearing, oh, the Lions haven't done this in freaking 30 years. That stuff sucks. Bears first-round picks, we could draft Caleb Williams and Drake May. Man, I really want the Panthers to win. I want the Panthers to win so they don't get no first overall pick. The Jones extension hurt the Giants more than they did. That was terrible, guys. That was terrible, guys. You want to take 2 first rounds or Goff in the offseason? Mad glazing you crazy. In the offseason? No, you said right now. Right now, I'm not going to do it. Off season, it depends what happens this year. 2 first-round picks is very enticing. It is very enticing for after this year. That one you'll have to ask me after. Now, no. After this year, it's a little bit different. But I think they're going to extend Jared Goff. So they're not going to trade him anyways. Hey, Bill. I hope you and your daughter's doing well. I'm concerned about the Lions getting many injuries. I know, so am I. Injuries, but you know what? We're getting healthier and healthier. I think we'll damn near at full strength at the bye week besides CJ Gardner-Johnson, who I think will come back at the end of the year for a playoff run. I have that feeling. That's a gut feeling. He will come back. But other than that, in the Emmanuel Mosley or the season-ending injuries, the Lions are starting to get healthy. Could you see Cameron Hayward coming here? Potentially, I'd have to look at it, but any connections to Aaron Glenn or Dan Campbell, for sure. Cam Jordan. I was like, Cam Hayward. I thought he's a Pittsburgh Steeler or something. Cam Jordan, potentially. I don't know. Hey, he says, Jonathan Anton says, I'm trash. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Let's see. He said off season. Oh, off season. In season, no. Off season, I don't know what's going to happen this year. Don't know. No one's offering twos for Goff. Yeah, I don't think anyone would do that. Look, if you're a franchise that want a quarterback, you just draft your guy. This is a great draft for quarterbacks. 5 can go in the first round. That's the best way to go, too. If you're a team trying to get a franchise guy, just go draft one. That's the way that I see it. Stop doing these Jimmy Garoppolos or the Ryan Tannehills or these holdovers that's not taking your franchise anywhere. Bite the bullet and draft a guy, develop the guy, and make your franchise go forward. Big Bigs is not a fan of Jared Goff. He's definitely not a fan. Folks, we've been on for over an hour. I got to get up off here. Do some investigating. Appreciate decision. And guess what? You have the absolute right. Big Bigs has the absolute right he wants to feel. This is a place for everybody. If you disagree, well, I mean, that's part of life. We're not all going to agree to disagree. But I think if you're a real Lions fan out there, I think it's really how we get it. And a playoff win. That's all we want. And we just got to win to do that. So regardless if we all have different opinions, if you're not a fan of Goff like Big Bigs, or if you're a fan of Goff like, I don't know, 9 Drinks are out there, at the end of the day, doesn't really matter. Lions got to win. That's the only thing that we're in win now. We got to win now. Okay, I'm not waiting another year. Well, we got to keep doing this rebuild stuff. We got to win now. We got to win this year. So, but I appreciate everybody hanging out. We'll be live on my channel on Thursday, 1 p.m. And on Monday, we're going to be live on LNU as well as my channel for the Lions and Raiders game for Monday Night Football. I do think the Detroit Lions are going to wipe the floor with them and go to 6-2. But we do got to watch other games this weekend, see all the other NFC teams. And we got to watch for the Eagles, the 49ers. We got to watch for the NFC North and all around all of the NFC teams. See where it is. Doing that every week. I know a lot of people on Twitter hits me up every time there's a win or loss, and they let me know where we're sitting at seeding because this stuff is important now to us. Generally speaking, we were talking about the draft at this. So let's see. I'm sure you want something else too. I don't know, man. Let you guys talk. Guys, next week.